Hello, my name is Dazz, and welcome to Region Locked Light. The run-and-gun platformer has always had a fairly loyal following, particularly with titles like Metal Slug or even Gunstar Heroes. Today we're going to take a look at a game that fits this genre, found in an unexpected place by an unexpected team. That game is Rapid Reload for the original PlayStation. Released in 1995 in Europe and in Japan as Gunner's Heaven, Rapid Reload was created by the team at Media.Vision, a company primarily known for their work on the Wild Arms series of games. The player is able to choose between one of two playable characters, Axel or Ruka. Gameplay is typical of run and gun, but with the addition of being able to switch between 4 different weapons. The duo have a unique set of 4 weapons each, meaning that the game plays differently depending on character choice. Attacks can be shot in 8 directions, with some weapons providing homing attacks against enemies, relieving the stress of having to actually aim. The player can also attack with throws, and can zip around stages with the use of a grappling hook. However, Rapid Reload's unique mechanic comes in its points system, designed to bolster a player's shots. As more points are collected, a counter at the top of the screen increases, improving the power of shots. Temporary buffs can also be collected, which will push this counter to its limits, making the player capable of complete domination for an extremely brief period of time. As time goes on, the counter will decrease, encouraging the player to kill more enemies to top it up again. This mechanic, though one of the game's only unique features, is heavily criticized by players due to the lack of balance that it brings to the game. At times, the player can have a huge excess of points, while at others the counter can dwindle to 0 due to long periods of no enemies appearing. Whilst fighting against a boss, however, the counter does freeze, allowing the player to continue using their stronger attacks against their foes. The game's plot follows Axel Sonics and Ruka Hetfield as they hunt down a legendary stone known as Valkyrie. The treasure hunters aren't alone in their search, as a terrorist group called the Pumpkinheads are also keen to get a hold of this treasure, so that they may use it for world domination. Very unique plot. The team must fight their way through a barrage of Pumpkinhead soldiers across several different locations in the world, taking out the captains of the organization as they go. Axel and Ruka have their own unique endings, encouraging the player to complete the game twice in order to see the results. Being the second title that Media.Vision had ever created, it may be considered unfair to make comparisons of cloning. However, I'm sure that you yourself can see the game's resemblance to Sega's Gunstar Heroes. And you wouldn't be alone in that comparison, as many reviews gave the game low scores as a result, criticizing the lack of features compared to Sega's earlier release, such as simultaneous cooperative multiplayer. While the game received a PAL release for the PlayStation's launch, the game was left out of America due to an issue that we have already spoken about in a previous episode on a game called Little Ralph. Many 2D titles were skipped over for the Western market in favor of more futuristic 3D games. The game would have been unlikely to receive critical acclaim within the region, as proven by reviews of the game's other publications. Whilst many will consider the game to be visually appealing, at the time of release many saw the game as nothing particularly interesting compared to earlier SNES or Sega Genesis titles. For a new console looking to evolve the gaming market into a 3D space, Sony likely felt that Rapid Reload was simply too archaic to be able to release it as a new game on their latest system. That's all for today, but if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, and maybe subscribe to keep up with the multiple videos which we'll be pushing out every week.